BBC News with Sue Montgomery. A heatwave in Europe that has already caused deaths and serious wildfires is intensifying. Temperatures are set to rise further in the coming days, with records already broken in many areas. Bethany Bell reports from southern Spain.
After days of intense heat, fires continue to rage across Spain. Firefighters battled the flames in Extremadura in the west of the country. In the south near Malaga, a popular tourist area, at least 3,000 people have been evacuated from their homes. In the Gironde area of France, the emergency services have been struggling to contain the fierce blazes. Fires have now also caused widespread destruction on the coast of Croatia and on the Greek island of Crete. Temperatures are continuing to rise. Wildfires have also destroyed several areas of forest in Morocco and now threaten residential areas in southwestern Turkey.
Parliament in North Macedonia has voted for a deal which could pave the way for long-delayed talks in joining the European Union. Neighbouring Bulgaria has agreed to lift its long-standing veto on North Macedonia's membership, in return for Bulgarians being recognised as an official minority group. However, problems could still arise because North Macedonia's constitution will have to be changed, which requires a two-thirds majority. Opposition parties say they won't support the change. The UN says gang violence in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince has left more than 230 people dead or injured over a 5-day period in a single district. Here's Richard Howells.
Gang violence has erupted in the impoverished Cité Soleil district of the Haitian capital since the country's president Jovenel Moïse was assassinated by mercenaries in July last year. Soaring fuel and food prices have made the situation worse. The UN says cases of sexual violence are also rising. On Friday, the UN Security Council voted to ban some weapons sales to Haiti in an attempt to tackle the bloodshed.
President Biden has told a regional summit in Saudi Arabia that the US is committed to remaining fully engaged in the Middle East. At the gathering in Jeddah, he spoke of the need to strengthen cooperation and rebuild trust. From Jeddah, Anna Foster.
Most people believe that what he wanted the most was some kind of deal on oil. And people thought that he was going explicitly to try and get a deal to increase oil production here in the Middle East, specifically in Saudi Arabia. Now, nothing like that has been announced. The Saudis have said that they are going to increase production capacity, but not until 2027. So as yet, the big announcement that Joe Biden was perhaps working towards has not arrived.
BBC News. Lawyers in Morocco say another woman is accused of French insurance tycoon of sexual harassment. Last month, several young Moroccan women lodged complaints against 75-year-old Jacques Boutier, one of France's richest men, for alleged people trafficking and sexual harassment. Since then, Moroccan authorities have detained several employees of Mr. Boutier, who's already under arrest in Paris. The United States says it stopped funding South Sudan's peace monitoring bodies after accusing the country's political leaders of failing to carry out reforms that were agreed as part of a deal to end the 6-year civil war. The U.S. State Department said critical electoral legislation had not been passed, and it lamented the fact that South Sudan still did not have a unified army. An overnight curfew has been declared in 2 towns in Sudan following several days of tribal clashes which have killed at least 31 people and injured many more. Sophie Glass-Ryan reports.
Soldiers have been deployed to control the violence, which was sparked by a land dispute between the Berti and Hausa tribes in the southeastern Blue Nile state. Dozens of people have been displaced and several shops have been set on fire during the unrest, which began on Monday. Despite the curfews, witness reports suggest that fighting is continuing in one of the towns, Roseris. The Central Committee of Sudanese Doctors said the town's hospital is not equipped to deal with the rising number of casualties. The UN Special Representative for Sudan has called on local communities to exercise restraint.
2 athletes at the World Athletics Championships in the US have been sent home for doping violations. They include Kenya's Lawrence Cherono, who was seen as a contender in Sunday's marathon. The American 400-metre runner Randolph Ross has also been suspended after an unsuccessful attempt to take a sample from him last month. BBC News.